There we go. We are live with some of my favorites. You got Kinsley in Florida and Michelle in California to talk about the trials and tribulations of working with attorneys, whether it be through divorces or through probate, and how to be successful at it. So I've got my notebook and I cannot wait to learn from you ladies. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me too. And it's always a pleasure to see the both of you.
Yes, absolutely.
My favorites.
Yes,
Thank
I love
you. I know we got a nice little group here today.
We do have a nice group.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Turn my
So
phone
who
off
wants?
so it doesn't ring.
Yeah, who wants to start? Who
Um,
wants to take the lead?
well, I don't mind. So I don't deal so much with attorneys as much as I do just couples divorcing. I do have a couple real estate attorneys who, or a couple divorce attorneys who have said, when you're going to sell, here's someone to contact. And, I've been interviewed quite a few times, which is great. But for the most part, I would say 90% of my divorcing clients are pretty amicable when we're at the table, going through the listing, signing the agreement. But I've had everything from hoarders, alcoholics. I'm not speaking to him. I'm not dealing with her. Just email me. Don't call me.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be pretty crazy, but I would say 90% of them are just doing what they need to get done to move on with their lives.
So most of those clients, how are they coming to you, Michelle?
Referrals, past clients, mutual friends. Very few come from an attorney.
Yeah.
A divorce attorney. Most are, hey, we went through our divorce. Michelle was great when selling our home. And the one thing I do add when I'm at a listing appointment with Mr. and Mrs. Seller, listen, I am not here to get in the middle of what is going on. I am here to do my job so you both can move on with your life. And I like to remind them of that. When we're communicating, I know Mrs. Seller is not in the house or Mr. Seller is not in the house. I will call you each independently so we can have a conversation, because that's more productive than a text message. If I don't get you and I leave you each a voice message, I'll send a group text, then I will send a group email. So we're all on the same page.
Smart.
And I've done my job. But more importantly, I have that email follow-up. Hey, I just left you a message. Here's what we talked about. Please respond. And most of the time, they respond and they're great with it. Yeah. But I've been very fortunate to get my business from referral.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I had a divorce situation years ago, and the husband was an alcoholic, smoker, drinker, and I used to date him when I was like 12, literally 12.
So he was a realtor?
No, divorce situation. But he's like blowing smoke in my face. He's having a beer. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon. And his wife is crying. And at the end of it, when everybody signs, he's like, so do you want to go out sometime? And I'm like in front of his wife. I'm like, hell to the no. Like,
no. I've been pretty fortunate too, that if I'm friends with the wife, I've been able to sell the house and they both want to move on and buy that. I just play neutral. I play nice. That I've been able to help both sides and continue a business relationship.
So you get 3 sales rolled up in one.
So you get 3 deals in one. That's right. So for the most part, I've been very lucky. There have been a couple times where they're just out of control and I have referred them off. I've done my job, and sometimes it's just not worth it. I mean, I had one that is a full-blown alcoholic, and I had sold him after the divorce a place. Then he got remarried and rented his place out. And at that point, then he had 2 rentals. Then he came back and wanted me to sell them, but he was a full-blown alcoholic. I couldn't talk to him after 1:00 because he was drunk already and belligerent and nasty. And the next day I'd get a text, I'm really sorry. I'm really not in a good place. I'm like,
That's not your
okay.
problem.
That's not okay, though. It's not okay.
I totally right. Would you have been that way to anybody else in your life, any other professional in your life? Like, holy cow, really?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
your therapist.
Yes, yes.
Right. I mean, this one, I finally reached a level where I was like saying things in return that I would never say to other people. And my assistant would be like, what are you doing? But you know what? He took it.
Yeah.
Because he knew he was a jerk. He knew.
Yeah. Wow.
He knew. So, but dealing with divorcing people, we have to remember, and I said this in Tahoe when I was on the panel, people that are going through divorce, even if they want the divorce and they're done with this marriage, you're still mourning the demise of your dream.
That's right. That's
And
a
you're
good.
selling the house that you had Christmas. You brought home a family dog. You brought home your first baby from the hospital. You have all these memories, and that is changing.
So you have
And
to go
so for
into
a
it
lot
and
of
be a little bit
people,
more respectful of that.
you do have to have a little more compassion for both parties, because even if they both want it, they're still kind of navigating down this road that life has changed completely. And the kids aren't going to be at my house full time or your house. It's how's this going to work? It's navigating a new life. And I think a lot of agents fail to recognize that aspect when dealing with people going through a divorce.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. So, Kynse, tell me about you and probate. And how do you do it? How did you break into it? I mean, you said
and I told you,
not through funeral homes, but kind of through funeral homes.
Right. And I told you, I always smile and I have a lot of humor in my life and in my business, as most everybody knows. And so I know you're all dying to find out how you break into the probate business.
Yes.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. It is, a kind of a fire niche, mind me, with my jokes. So actually, it just kind of happens. Like death happens. And there's one thing that is always going to happen is everybody is going to pass away at some point of their life.
That's right.
And so I always recommend to my clients, whether, single, married, divorced, all of my clients, depending if they have one property, multiple properties, to obtain legal advice on how to take title to that property, whether if they have multiple properties, if they're going to be in a trust, an estate, or a will. So I work with a lot of attorneys that do trust probates and estates. So that is kind of how my business works is I refer them to attorneys refer them back to me. Same with my divorce transactions like yours. A lot of word of mouth, a lot of referral, and just knowing that through the situation, I have the right team in place to take the transaction to closing, because there's a lot more that goes to it than just, this person is allowed to sign for this trust. And then when you pull title, who knows what's going to pop up. Like I have one closing. We just got clear to close today to close on Wednesday. One of the beneficiaries of the estate, well, after mom passed away, she signed a deed to herself on the home.
Wow.
Okay.
And then there was a $620,000 judgment attached itself to that home within the 32 days of the property being in her name before the estate was able to get that taken care of, squash. And so that just held up closing for another 2 weeks
Oh
to
my
get
gosh.
that, and then we also had a pending foreclosure on this one. So we had to get that foreclosure sale date pushed. So yeah, there's a lot more that goes into it. Just because you have title to the property once probate is finished never means there's clear title.
Right. That's right.
It never means there's clear title. So you need to have a good title company and attorney also on your side to pull title prior to taking that listing, so you know exactly when it can close.
You know, it's funny because I'm sitting there thinking, like right now I've got 10 under contract and 9 of the 10 are either divorced or somebody's dead. I didn't mean to say quite so brutal, but
it happens. People die. And when they die, they're dead, they're deceased. However we want to put it, it sounds blunt and traumatic, and yes, it is. But you have to be there for. Sometimes an estate can have 6 beneficiaries.
Oh wow! But just because
there could be a bad brother and a bad sister, there could be one executor, or they could all have equal say in every situation. And I really like it when there's one executor.
Yeah, much easier that way.
And it can go to a vote depending on how many people, but I've had them with 8.
Wow.
And
so when you have 6 beneficiaries, they're not decision makers. The executor is, correct?
Correct. And it's really how the trust, the estate, or the will is written and specified.
Okay. Because, you know, how we do our closings are so different than back east, where, you know, a lot of you will sit around the table and sign with the attorneys in place as well. We don't close that way. So
I haven't been to a closing in several years where we sat down at a table.
Okay.
Most everything is mobile notary, mail away.
Okay, that's how we
down at a table.
See. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
because
we
there's no one to. Yeah, there's no one really to sit at the table. We typically, you know, you could prop up mom's urn at the table. I say a prayer. Everyone's.
I have a question. So when you have 6 beneficiaries but one executor, that executor has to get everybody's opinion, or they're not decision makers, right? They just are entitled to a piece of whatever pie is left over.
It depends on how it's written.
How it's written. Okay.
It depends on how it's written. You could have one executor, one co-executor, and then additional beneficiaries, and depending on who can sign and who's allowed to sign, you could still need to get permission. And sometimes people get their permission taken away from them during the process.
Okay.
Wow. They get spanked.
The bad sister just got spanked.
Be in the corner. Put baby in the corner.
Yeah, she turned off. She was living in the house. She signed a deed to herself. She got a $620,000 judgment placed on the home. And
bye-bye, get off of here.
Wow.
They gave her a date to move out by. She didn't move out by that date. We had the property under contract, and all of a sudden this new $620,000 judgment pops up. The day of the appraisal, she has the electricity turned off.
Holy cow.
Like oh my gosh. The crazy things that we see. I've had divorced people take things after the first, you know, X moved out, Mr. Seller moved out, Mrs. Seller comes and she takes the refrigerator, and I'm like, that's part of the contract. Well, he can buy it back. And I'm like, that's
not the way you do it.
But you know, dealing with some of these people who are very irrational.
I'll tell you
which is why there's wine when we're done.
There was that same couple I was talking about earlier with the alcoholic that was blowing smoke in my face. Literally, the day of closing, the buyer's agent calls me and she's like, "Jennifer, we have a problem." I'm like, "What's the problem?" She's like, "Have you seen the house?" And I'm like, "I saw it yesterday." And she's like, "Yeah, you need to come by here." Have y'all seen the movie? I'm totally dating myself, but Animal House.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
It was an Animal House style party that this man threw. I mean, beer cans upside down on the carpet, cigarette butts still in the carpet where they decided to put them out in there.
Oh my
In
gosh.
the microwave. Like, and the sad thing is they were walking away at this time for $80,000 in equity. So they're each walking away with 40,000. But his little
He didn't
stunt
care.
cost him 10,000.
Yeah,
And it had to come off of his side.
Yeah, this sale, they all walked away. Well, they will on Thursday.
Bye, Jimmy.
You're going to say to the Lords above, Thursday's the day. It's finally the day. And they're all going to walk away with over $100,000 each. And that's even after the attorneys and the probate and everything else to go along with it.
So then are you getting, because where I get mine, I mean, it's very sporadic. I certainly am not the expert like you girls are, but I just get mine through referrals. But Kynse, are you, it sounds like a lot of attorneys and funeral homes too, you said, do send you a lot of business. How do you,
I don't market to them. I don't have a great big smiling picture of myself in a funeral home that says Grandpa died, call me to sell his house, because I think that that's super tacky. I don't, I don't pop out of a casket at the ceremony.
Oh my God, that would scare the hell out of me if you did.
Yeah.
I'm not standing at the cemetery in a dress with my black Remax umbrella, wishing everybody the best in the rain.
So is it
I'm friends with several people that are in the business, and I don't reach out to them for business. I don't ever ask them for business. If someone needs comps run on a property, if someone needs a broker price opinion that will withhold in a court of law, I do all of that free of charge for my clients and for my friends and for anyone that asks me, really. Just as in when I do some divorce sales, I will, if an attorney wants me to give a value under oath, I will show up to the courthouse. I will give my value of the property under oath and walk away from there.
Okay.
And then John Young has got his RRC, which is the Residential Real Estate Council, has a probate certification that he says it's completely filled out every time they offer it. John, how often do they offer this class? Yearly? Monthly? Would love, he put it right here.
Yeah.
So if you look down, if you scroll down the comments, you will see where you can take that class.
And the RRC is part of CRS.
Yes.
And so they have,
That's
different classes that you can take for your designation, but that designation is pretty good.
Yeah. Have you both taken it?
I have not taken it, but I have people that took it, and I thought,
I have not taken it either.
Yeah.
All of my experience has been from working transactions for a very long time, and making sure that my own trust, estate, and will was set up properly, because I know Jennifer knows, and several other people on the thread know, I was in kidney failure 7-8 years ago, and I had to wait for a kidney and a pancreas transplant. And during that time, I had to make sure I was a broker and an owner of a Remax franchise. I had realtors working under my franchise. My son is now 15. We have properties. So I had to make sure that everything was set up for myself. And so I interviewed 2 attorneys, and I went with a very reputable attorney that actually, she does real estate law. She does divorce. She does trust, estates, and wills. And she actually, her daughter takes horseback riding lessons down the street from my farm. She stopped the other day to catch up and have her daughter pet the horses, play with the horses. And, Yeah. So, and it's really just, I think everyone should, depending if you have one house, if you have anyone that you think deserves your shit when you pass away, it has to be done properly.
I cannot stress that enough. And I've done videos with the trust attorney that I've used for our family's trust. And so many people don't have anything in place.
Yeah.
No.
And it's very scary because you try and explain what the process would be if you don't have a trust or will in place, and how that gets determined by the courts. And then there goes 30 to 40% of what would have been left to your children.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And crazy enough, and don't feel guilty if you're one of those people, because I was one of those people until I had my medical scare in January. But all of November and December, I was doing exactly that. I was calling attorneys. I was setting up wills. I was setting up, my mom has a trust. I was checking with her trust attorney and make sure it was all done. So if I died before my mother, it would pass right to my children. And that, it was 60 days of hell doing it when I thought I was dying at that time. Luckily I wasn't. Everything was fine. But at that moment I thought it was.
And I also lived, but with my mother currently has Alzheimer's, and so we've also been working to make sure all of her affairs are in order. But things in my life has changed also since I first did my first, estate planning for myself. And so I just, because my son isn't 18 and I have one child, only one child, but he's expected to keep the farm and take care of the horses, and just bury me in the backyard, so then the property will be tax-free, and he can stay here forever if he chooses to. And if not, then he has to come visit me. Then my horses pass away and he buries me next to him, but things change over life. So, my executor and my trustees until my son turns 18, 21, and 25, which is how I have mine set up.
Oh, smart.
That has changed. Smart. That has changed over the years. So, he just doesn't get property and cash at 18 years old and
that's smart, Mama.
Very smart.
And is expected to be wise about it.
Yeah. Wow.
Even though he's pretty wise, too wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't take the time to set it up the way that you did, which was very smart, because then here's this 21-year-old with a chunk of money and, property, and they're not budgeting.
And 4 horses. Don't forget his brothers and
the farm.
4 horses.
But, we see people pass away and everything gets left to one child and they blow it. It needs to be strategically released as they mature and understand what the responsibility is.
Exactly.
And again, you don't want to do those like I did. You don't want to come up with a will and a trust under distress, right?
No.
You should do it now when everything's happy and healthy and you're good.
When everything's good.
Out, it's not a good time to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. And then if something in your life changes, or if someone falls out of place in your life, all you have to do is call your attorney and make some changes.
Just make a little addendum change. We do those all day long, right?
We do addendums all day long. Yeah. And in probate, you might do 52 addendums to one contract.
Oh my God.
I think we just did the last one today.
Wow. Lord. Yeah. I mean, I do have a couple of friends who are divorce attorneys, so they've sent business my way. But for the most part, it is past clients and friends and pickleball or soccer people. And, it's just when you're in the industry for as long as we have been, it starts to.
Yeah, we look good.
We do look good. We look really good.
We do.
It's all that outdoor living, right?
It is.
Mike Merrick wants to be a part of your will.
8675309. That's Mike Merrick's pool gate code, if anyone wanted to know. And yes,
Hi, Mike.
I'm going to give you There's a grave on my property, and it says the name Fancy on it. We'll give you the fancy grave on the property.
You are
because
so
you're fancy.
funny. I love that.
Well, wonderful. Well, this was so good. I've gotten so much from you girls, you women.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think in all of it, it's just staying connected with everyone that you already know. And that's 99% of our business.
And, you know, you go out to dinner, you meet someone new. I always handwrite a card. It was nice meeting you. Keep me in mind. You know, you got to keep those touches with everybody that you know. And I do quarterly parties, but you know, I said it in Tahoe. If you work the divorce scene well enough, you'll get the sale and then 2 purchases. So 3 deals.
And I think that's excellent. And I think it's also keeping your eyes and ears open for opportunities, because I haven't always done that in the past, where somebody's just talking in passing and I'm listening and talking with them as a friend, but not as an advisor. Right. So it's kind of shifting that, saying, hey, wait a second, you know, I actually specialize in that. I can help you navigate through this. So I think it's also remembering to tell people that's part of your job.
It is. And it's finding the right time to say that without coming across, you know, like an ambulance chaser.
Absolutely.
Exactly. It's not like I'm going to wear a t-shirt that says I sell dead people's houses.
Can I please have that shirt made for you? Because that would be kind of funny.
I might wear it on Halloween. So yeah.
That would actually be a really good. That's funny. We should all do that for Halloween. Really cute costume.
Yeah, it's not one of those things that you can really target, because and same with divorce. When I get divorce clients, it's like, am I giving you sad hugs right now, or am I saying congratulations?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's a little both. Honestly, it is.
Yeah,
it can still be a little of both, even if they were the ones that said, I'm done, I want the divorce. You can still be happy and sad.
Exactly. And it's our job to make it just as easy as possible to get to the closing table.
Yes.
Michelle, I commend you, because I do a really good job navigating through the divorce path, but 100% of the time I always take sides with the women, and I end up so mad at the husband by the end of it.
But it's hard when people are drawn thinking it's the man who's, but that's not the case. I mean, a lot of mine, it's 50-50. There was one in particular, and I didn't really know either of them. We had a lot of mutual friends, but I ended up not selling her a house, but I sold him a house, and she stopped talking to me at the end. She was just, I think, so upset with him. And I was there as the punching bag, and that's okay. I was still very kind to her. I still sent her a closing gift. I still sent her a birthday card. About a year and a half later, I ran into her in town, didn't even recognize her. And she looked and said hello and asked how I was. And then, and I was cordial. And she finally said, you know, you were really a great agent, and I appreciate everything you did. And I'm like,
you're like, hey, can you say that again?
You know, they just, she was so angry. And we have to remember that it's not personal.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
and it's the same when there's 3 or 4 or 5 people that all want the same fork.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
And you've got to hold that fork at a very high level.
What a great analogy. I like that. I'm going to have to use that. You all want this fork.
Exactly. And there's only one fork, and it was great grandma JoJo's least favorite fork, but for some reason everybody wants that one fork.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like pitchfork my mama stabbed my dad with in the barn. That's a whole nother story.
It's hilarious. Well, good. Well, y'all were amazing. Thank you. Thank you for your time and your energy and showing up.
I appreciate being here. I appreciate you ladies, and everything we get to come to the table and learn from each other.
I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Are y'all everybody going to Napa Valley on October?
I am not.
I am.
Wait, we have an am and a not. You're not, Kynse?
I'm a not.
Oh.
I have another horse arriving next week. Don't ask. And our market is very strange right now. I was saying we have more inventory than we've had since 2006, 2007. And they are continuing to build huge mass developments. And I have short sale listings coming back to me.
Really?
Which is why I haven't
seen those yet.
I haven't
at
seen
night,
those.
and I've been having some nightmares because back between 2006 and 2011, I did hundreds and hundreds and just short sale.
So did I. I had agents calling from other brokerages. Hey, I was on the other end of that deal. Can you do my short sale? And I'm like,
same.
How about I take it and I will give you the referral fee? And
exactly.
I did
Because
so
let's be
many
clear,
of
it's a hell of a lot of work. Holy shit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I took on 3 short sale
see.
listings last week, and we're putting together a little tax strategy with my CPAs and my enrolled agents and accountants to just prepare people, because what's happening here is the builders, the large developers and large builders are now selling the same home for 40, 50, 60,000 less than they were during the after COVID era boom.
Yeah.
And they're offering the 4.5% interest rates, 20,000 in free upgrades, and 5-6% commissions to the agents. And
So
there's still people that need to move out of those communities, and they're still building more.
Wow.
At a lower price. So
I've seen one community here that's doing that. It's D.R. Horton. I don't know who you're talking about, but
I'm D.R. Horton, Lennar, and Pulte, and I will say it loud and proud. Wow. And I'll say it to their face, and I'll say it to their sales center when they won't even have a cold bottle of water for me.
Oh wow.
And their light bulbs burnt out. Yeah.
I think that's actually scary that you're seeing all those short sales. I saw it in one neighborhood, but I thought it was isolated, that neighborhood, but
we haven't seen them yet.
It's really people that bought right in that after era boom.
Yeah.
And
so the prices are starting to
got
adjust.
loans while the interest rates were still lower, but now they need to move due to, like everything we've discussed, family, death, jobs.
And then if anybody bought in the past 2 years, then they're over what they're currently being sold for is new. Wow, that's scary.
Yes.
So,
yes. Very scary.
And we'll see where it heads. No one has a crystal ball.
Yeah.
No. We just have that magic 8. I like those answers.
It's like, what happened in Wilmington, North Carolina? No.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Probably. I don't know. I need to put one of those on my desk.
Yeah. I need a couple of them. Well, thank y'all. And Kynse, let me know. Gosh, let's touch base in a month and see if you're still seeing them.
Yeah, I'm very curious how many you're going to start to see unfold, because we haven't seen them here. And I was very, very nervous about it. But so many people still have so much equity that I'm thinking that's going to save us from some short sales. But the amount of people during COVID that didn't pay and have been playing the game with their lender, as we all know, we watched that happen.
What I'm so worried about is I know at least 10 people that are the younger generation that owns homes that have taken out a second mortgage to pay their bills. Yes. Because they're not wanting to go back to work, not wanting to go back to hours for whatever reason. And I'm like, cool. Like, you had $100,000 in equity.
It's like, that's so 2005.
Yes, that's what's worrying me. So, that's why I wanted so much to hear about your probate and your divorce and everything. So I do feel like, for different reasons, we'll start seeing that again. But I do think these people yanking the money out and spending it to pay bills is kind of friggin' scary.
It is scary to see
Like at
what they're
least back
doing.
in the day, we were making so much in real estate, just writing contracts, writing contracts. We were buying things like boats and
Yeah.
Hummers
That's true.
and big fancy vacations and more houses that we
Yeah.
had to short sale when we were done.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. 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 Well,
All
anyway,
right.
I can't wait to touch base and see how it's going. Could you please keep me in the loop and let me know, like in a month, kind of
Yeah,
where
I'm
you
very
see it
curious to
going.
see how many you take and if there's something I should buy if you have a good deal.
See, opportunity,
Absolutely.
Michelle. That's what I mean.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's why we are here. Opportunity. You know, that's
absolutely.
the thing I love most about Remax is all these connections. We're all across, the US right here, and we're helping each other. And I get a listing that maybe someone wants a second home for a vacation property, or Kynse does, or we come
Oh,
across
yeah.
these great deals and I'm looking, yes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we should buy there. We should buy there.
Yeah,
So
Exactly.
mhm.
Exactly.
absolutely.
So
Well, I
Yeah.
love it. Let's do some cross
Yeah.
deals together, ladies.
Yes. Well,
absolutely, always. I love
thank
doing
you,
deals with all my
Jennifer.
Remax ladies and my Remax men.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right. Well, thank you for having me.
You are welcome, and thank
Thank
y'all.
you guys.
I
You're
appreciate your time.
amazing. I hope you make it through the week
Thank you. You
Yes.
too.
fashionably.
All right.
I
See you
love it.
ladies soon.
Bye, guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
above the dirt.